everyone and welcome back to the channel. Here we are, we reached the final episode of the National Team Packs. I think this conclusion will be one of the most important videos of the series. The intro helps you to understand the pillars of the strategy. Each pack supports you to understand the plans deeply, the target, and at the end select the best plan for your idea of game. But with this video I would like to guide you to understand how to arrive in the competitive phase in the best way possible. So now we need to start. So we won't see deeply plans, mix, etc. I just need to explain, give you an idea on how to, from a pack, mix all the others, building the strongest team that you ever made in Hattrick. Now let's start. And here we are with the main concept. Guys, you need to swap the pack, switch. You need to think that your strategy is not a closed strategy, that you start from a role, a pack, and that's it. You have core players, you have secondary players that help you to make profit budget, and with that you need to complete the team. Of course, some packs are suitable with others in a best way, and we will see it. Now let's go ahead. Please, as always, push the like, any comment is more than welcome, and follow the channel, it will help me a lot. Now let's go. So here we are, and this is one of the main concepts, the main lineup. Depending on the pack that you will select, from the goalkeeper to the forwards, you need to think that you have main lineups. And before to arrive to the competitive phase, you will have a lot of season, more or less 10-12, in which the main lineup and the main approach will be in a specific way. Just an example, with the defender packs or the wingbacks set piece taker pack that is a wingback at the end, just with more set pieces, the main concept is that for a lot of time you will train defending, therefore the main lineups will be defensive, therefore counter-attack tactic will be really important during the path before to arrive in the competitive phase. So also this is an important aspect. What do you want to do in 10 season, 12 season? You want to have a defensive approach, a midfield control approach, a more flexible approach with the wingers that help you to have both a possessive lineup like 3-5-2, 2-5-3, you can also use 3-4-3, but also 4-4-2, for example. Or you want to have an offensive approach because you will train forwards, therefore you will have 3 main forwards really strong, and as always you need mainly to have in routine lineups with 3 forwards, therefore 2-5-3, 3-4-3, 4-3-3 also in counter-attack you could do. So depending on that, this is the main concept to select a pack. After that, when you reach the peak at 29-30 years old and you will be in the competitive phase, you will add to your core players also senior players, and at the end the guy that will select a wingback pack that maybe will have at the end as main lineup 4-4-2 and 4-3-3, in the competitive phase he can easily routine also the 3-5-2. So it's just a matter of what you want to do during the travel, during the path towards the competitive phase. But in the competitive phase, also a guy that will train mainly playmaking, building a 3-5-2 with the inner midfielder pack, in the competitive phase he can routine a 4-4-2 lineup to be more flexible tactically in the competitive phase, having a 4-4-2, for example. This is the main concept. Now, the second step is the following. You see the timeline that you are used to see in my other video of the packs. And here we have the plans that I showed to you during the series, from the goalkeeper to the forwards. Now, these are example, my example of the video. Be aware the fact that you can do also different kind of plans. You could do a lot of things. Following the concept of the national team packs, anyway, you should have the main target at the end should be the target of the national team that I put in the stories, etc. But this is an example to show you what. This is the main concept. From season 1 to 12, with all the life cycle of the player, you have specific training plans. And some packs are, as I told you before, similar to others. Therefore, obviously a forward cannot be mixed with a defender, because in the defender you have a lot of season of defending. Meanwhile, for a forward you need a lot of scoring, so it's difficult to to train in parallel two players like this. Is easier arrive at the end of this during the competitive phase. You will complete your forwards and you will buy a senior player that will play as defender. But during the cycle you can mix the packs in a specific way. Let's give you an example. If you look here, but no, I will do like this. This will help me. You have specific windows. Of course, at the beginning, at 17 years old, when the player is coming from the academy, is in the market, or maybe is your homegrown player. Here, you can personalize your player from the beginning, pushing a lot of the experience, doing what you want, and here is the perfect momentum in which you can really have this player and do of his future what you want. And also the market recognize it, because you pay a lot of the 17 years old players. Why? Because when a player is starting a new project, is starting from the 17 years old, and therefore here there is a peak of demand, and the value of the players at the 17 years old are really huge. But there are other windows that can be interesting, that will help you to complete and mix the plans, the packs, and to build your team. One of the momentum is at 22 years old, when the player have 22.0 days after the under 21 phase. A lot of players after the competitive phase of the under 21 and the competition like Euro Cup or World Cup are in the market. And here you have the first moment in which you can buy players, cutting 5 seasons that anyway are 2 years, and here you can also see the player that were lucky or not. You can buy already players that have experience thanks to the under 21. So this is a key moment that you could remember. On top of that, there are specific momentum like 24, 25 years old or at 29, in which the player reached, for example, in 24 years old, the primary skill could be completed. For example, the forward will have, if the player is trained properly, already 17, 18 in scoring. Therefore, you can buy a forward that is already completed in scoring, and you complete in the other skill, like playmaking, passing, and winger. Or a winger is also completed in his skill with 17, 18 winger. So maybe in your plan you are not thinking to train winger, you can find a winger already completed and you can train him in playmaking. And here is the example. For example, here in this specific window, if you have an inner midfielder pack in which you trained playmaking and passing in under 21, you did already the defending cycle, and you are in a moment in which you are training playmaking, and you have still a lot of playmaking to do, you can buy a winger already completed in winger with already defending, and he was already with some playmaking levels, and you can complete the winger in playmaking. Therefore, this is a moment in which with the inner midfielder pack you can add at 24, 25 years old a winger that will, from another guy that was doing the winger pack, buying and adding to your team. Or another example that we did in my previous video, I told you something. Let's take as example the defender pack. In this case, this is a central defender with more defending than playmaking. Like, I don't remember the example, you can see in the other video, but let's do 17, 18 in defending and 15, 16 in playmaking. Okay, so in under 21 you do defending, 14 defending, 10 playmaking, you complete playmaking and 15, 16, and you are starting to do another time defending with your player that is 14, 15 in defending. Okay, meanwhile you can find in this specific window a wingback in the market of a player that was doing the wingback pack that trained defending at 13, did 17 in winger, maybe did something, some playmaking, and in a specific moment the player could be sold. Maybe this player will be 14, 14 in defending and 17 in winger, and considering that the wingback needs 17 in defending, your player central defender is with 14, maybe the wingback is with 13, you can train him together with your core players of the pack central defender, adding a wingback from a wingback pack of other user, training defending and passing, and you have one defender, 18 defending, 15, 16 playmaking with some passing, and you have your wingback with the winger skill and defending at 17. Therefore you have your full line of defenders really strong, and you can do the same concept with the wingback set piece taker. So this is, and the set pieces you will do at the end in the competitive phase. So it's something perfect, mix the defender, the wingback and the set pieces taker. And this is another example. So this is how, and also the order in which I put the packs are not random, because the defenders with the wingbacks and the set pieces taker can mix in a easy way the plans, but also the inner midfielder with the wingbacks can mix in a good way, and we will see it. And also someone that start from a forwards pack can add in a specific momentum a inner midfielder, for example. Now let's go ahead. A concept that I already told is this. We saw the windows. Now, one of my first video was under 21 packs. I completed all the view with the national team packs. What I can say could be three options. The first one, someone that want to do a strategy like that but is with a low budget. He can start with under 21 packs, building strong players for in 5 seasons, and in these specific windows, when the players are completed and maybe they gained experience, put in the market them, gaining a good starting budget for a new flow, because maybe in these 5 seasons you learn the game, you learn what you want to do, which kind of plan, and you can restart with more budget. Second situation, you have already a good budget, maybe thanks to the budget that you did thanks to the under 21 packs, and you start your own strategy from the beginning, buying the best player in the market from the academy, 17 years old, building a long-term plan of 12 seasons. Another comment, if you have a medium budget, let me say, you could start, depend on you, how much you are good in trading, because in 12 seasons you can do a lot of trading, gaining a lot of profit. If you are doing a pack that is doing more, is requiring you more defense trainings, so the team spirit won't be so relevant, do trading will be easy, because you don't need to manage the team spirit that is impacted with the training, with the character of the players. Therefore, you can do a lot of money if you have the possibility. The third option, what could be? You have you sold your players, you have a lot of budget, from 50 millions even more. Maybe you don't want to do 12 seasons that are 5 real years. You can cut a little bit the plan and reduce the period buying players in these specific windows after the under 21. Believe me that a lot of players during the cycle after the under 21 are lost because the players are sold, because the users are changing the strategy, they want to rebuild the team, they are not used to wait a lot to arrive at the peak. That for me is a mistake, because if you don't reach the peak, you won't be competitive enough to reach the first series. So a user that every 1-2 years is changing the plan, selling the players, buying new young players, will never reach the peak, will never reach the competitive phase and the high series. So if you are selling the players, you want to rebuild the strategy, be careful. Maybe you don't need to start from the 17 years old. You can check in the market, you need to have the good knowledge, because you can buy 22 years old players, really nice, and you can find easily. You want to do a inner midfielder pack, you can find in the market 22 years old strong player, 22 years old with already playmaking skill at 16 level of different national teams, also with a good experience, that are sold from managers that want to rebuild the plan. So be careful, that could be also the third option that help you to not wait 5 years, 4 years to reach the competitive phase. And now some example. As I told you before, if you start from a defender pack, easily you can add in a specific momentum that I showed to you before a wingback set pieces taker and a pure wingback. Or if you start from a inner midfielder pack, you can easily add a defender, maybe already completed. Maybe there is a guy that is doing a counter-attack plan, is training a lot defending. You can find in the market a 17 defender skill player. You can buy and train and complete him in playmaking, adding at the end of the cycle some passing, and this will be your central defender together with your core players in the midfield. Also, you can buy a winger, already completed in winger, as I told you before, giving him, in the last part of the cycle, the playmaking level that needs, that more or less could be 17-18. In conclusion, also the forwards. When you finish the cycle of the forward on scoring 18, you will need to do winger, and when you finish that, you need to do playmaking and passing. Therefore, in that moment, you can buy some inner midfielder already completed that need to do playmaking and some passing at the end of the cycle. So that's it. This is more or less something that you can do. And now let's do another example. The cross cycle, I did a video, I recommend you to check it. But is this the concept? What I did, I started from the winger pack. I trained 4 wingers. At the end, at 23, 24, you will see in the video, I sold 2 of them. So I decided which were the 2 core players. I sold my secondary players that were strong. I made a lot of money, and with that I bought other players that for me were the pillars of the strategy of my team, my core players. And what I added a inner midfield in a specific momentum, and you will see in the video specific of the cross cycle. I added a inner midfielder with more playmaking already done, 16. I bought a powerful striker with already scoring training done with 18 and 17-18, because I switched the PNF because I found during the cycle another one stronger. Anyway, it was completed in the forward skill, and I'm doing just playmaking and passing to complete him, to support him mainly in playmaking, to perform in a better way in the event of the powerful striker. And also I added a central defender coming from a central defender pack of another user. This player was already completed in defending, 17.5 more or less the skill, and he was already with some passing. And what I'm doing, I'm training playmaking. Now the guy is 15, will arrive at 16 playmaking, and what I will have and I will do another video with the end of everything with this series of Falange Arancione, in which I will show you the skill of all players. But at the end, what I did, from the beginning, I built the primary skill of the wingers, 18. In the market, I bought a forward with the primary skill forward scoring 18. For the defender, I bought him at 17 and a half. The inner midfielder was with 16 because was in the momentum in which it was important to have 16 to reach at the end of the cycle 19 in playmaking, because at the end, in the last part of the cycle, I was doing mainly playmaking and a little bit of passing. Therefore, I pushed the playmaking skill of the forward, the wingers, the central defender, and also the inner midfielder, the skill of playmaking. This was the main concept, and with the cross cycle, I built this cross in the field, having the pillars of the team, from the defense to the forwards, coming from also the wingers and the inner midfielders. I have my pillars of my team, and now that I am in the competitive phase, I bought the other team, I bought senior players to complete my team. The main concept that I would like to underline, and I will arrive at the conclusion, and let's go. With the conclusion, I would like to stress this concept. What the national team packs are. We are speaking about a long-term plan. At the end, it's similar to the cycle training. It's just with a different concept of plan, because we are leveraging on the target of the under 21, the national team, building the player in a way that you ensure also that the player can be called in the under 21. That sometimes a cycle training plan could give priority to other skills that are not suitable for the under 21 phase, and you lose the opportunity to gain the experience from the under 21. So this is an important concept, and you have a specific target from day one that ensure you to build one of the strongest player in the game in a specific role. On top of that, give you already a direction. You know already today the plan that you need to follow for 12 seasons. And the quality of a manager, I gave some example, but I'm sure you can find other way to mix and swap the packs. And this is for me easy, because I did with my main team, Falange Arancione. I started with a plan that was the winger pack, and following that, I found a way, following the market in a specific momentum, to add other players, selling secondary players. And this is important because in this way, you are not focusing just on I will buy some player at day one and they will be my only players. No, this is not the concept of the national team packs. You will have some core players, but the other that will benefit from the same training of your core player will be your extra budget that will support you to complete the team in specific moments, also in the competitive phase when you will need to buy senior players, because or you are doing a homegrown team, and this is another story. But if you are not doing so, it's difficult to have 11 players with strong targets that are trained at 100% from you. You need to leverage on the market in a good way. And with this concept, with these packs, with these Windows topics that I already told you, if in a utopistic way, I don't know if utopistic is English, in Italian makes sense, if everyone understand when sell the player in the right moment, when maybe one of the primary skill is completed, the market will recognize it, the market will pay you a lot, and everyone will find players suitable for the plan, and we will build strong teams. And so the national team packs are not closed plans, because we are saying I build my own team, own player, but in parallel I will build players for other users, and the other users will train other players that will support me to complete the team. Because depending on your strategy, if you want to be more defensive, training defender spec, wingback packs, etc. You will you will focus more on defensive approach for 12 seasons, being at the end competitive. Meanwhile, another guy could focus on the forwards, being more aggressive, offensive, but at the end, forwards player will be in the market, defender player will be in the market, and the users will buy them to complete the team. And that's it, guys. To conclude the video, I would like to do an overview of what we did in these months and in the latest year. I wanted to conclude the video also with this because it's really important to show you all the resources that we have we built in these months in Hattrick, in the Federation of National Team Under 21 for everyone. You will have all the index with all the packs that we did, with all the link of the video. Okay, this is easy for you because you are already on YouTube, but here we have all the main KPI for each video, all the plans written in an easy way, for also the example, so a starting pack how could be, and these are example of users that with me did this strategy. And here I'm speaking about the plans and also about the main pro to buy players with a specific specialty, etc, etc. So here for me you will find everything. Together with these videos, this I hope will help all the users. I invite you to be in this Federation National Team and Under 21 for everyone, because for me here we should find all the staff of the national team that are looking for new users, new buyers that will buy their talents for their national teams, and the users that want to do a strategy like this, they need to find a place in which they ensure to buy players really followed by the national team, that are really players that could be could have a good chance to play, and this federation could be the perfect place to match demand and offer, supply and demand, sorry, and that means users, clubs, and national team staff. So I hope that this video will help a lot of people of our community. For any comment, any question, I'm here. Also in the federation, I think that in the future I will write maybe the example of my plans, of my teams, because I'm not doing this strategy just with my Falange Arancione team, but also with my secondary team in Wales. Therefore, let's share the ideas, and I would like to see a lot of people, because I already met, that will follow this strategy, but not just to follow and that's it. I would like really to see that this strategy help the people to reach targets that they never reach until today in Hattrick after a lot of years, like happened with me, because I'm reaching really levels of ratings with my main team never reached. I'm playing really well, and I'm really happy to see what I did in these years. Also, for example, and I conclude the video with that, I'm seeing that of my 5 core players, 4 are playing. I applied the concept of diversification, etc. Therefore, split the risk to not see the player called in a specific national team. And I see that of my 5 core players, 4 players are playing in the national team, and I see a good benefit of cut reduction of the salary. Of course, you need to select really strong players, and you need to pay them, or diversify in a good way with small national teams that increase the chance to play, because of course maybe of, I don't know, 4 core players, maybe just 2 will play, so the cut reduction won't be so relevant. But anyway, this is another pro that I would like to mention, and you will see in the future video of Falange Arancione the impact of that. So, what I can say, thanks to all of you to follow this video, to follow all the series. for the followers, thanks for the subscription, and thanks to follow and give me feedbacks that show me the interest of these topics and help me to continue my ideas on this game. It's my hobby, and I really would like to support more people to find the beauty of the game, because if you were like me, I think that the half of the users in Hattrick are not leveraging on all the quality of this game, and really I hope that with my contents, and not only because there are a lot of Hattrick creators that are supporting all the community to learn in a better way and to enjoy in a better way the game. So let's go ahead and go Hattrick, and thank you all. Ciao ciao, see you in the next series because I have plans. Ciao ciao.